All right, can I request everyone to say sadhu?
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Panchahi bhikkhave dhammehi samannagato bhikkhu attahitaya patipanno hoti parahitaya cha. Prathamehi panchahi ida bhikkhave bhikkhu attana cha sila sampanno hoti parancha sila sampadipeti. Attanna cha samadhi sampanno hoti parancha samadhi sampadaya samadapeti. Attanacha panya sampanno hoti parancha panya sampadaya samadapeti. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends in the Dhamma, as usual, on every Tuesday, we are meeting at 6:30 Brisbane time to conduct our weekly mindfulness session. And after practicing for 1.5 hours, 45 each for walking and sitting, we provide the supportive factors for the practice. So for that purpose, we usually select a discourse of the Buddha and then discuss about it to the best of our ability. And for that purpose, we have selected this particular discourse that I just recited a verse from. The discourse is Attahitaya Parahitaya, which means the welfare of the self and welfare of the others. So that's the discourse name. And in this particular stanza, the verse that I recited, the direct translation of it is, because possessing 5 qualities, a bhikkhu is practicing both for his own welfare and for the welfare of others. What 5? Number 1, here a bhikkhu is himself accomplished in virtuous behavior and encourages others to become accomplished in virtuous behavior. And number 2, he is himself accomplished in concentration and encourages others to become accomplished in concentration. Number 3, he is himself accomplished in wisdom and encourages others to become accomplished in wisdom. And there are 2 others which we are going to take in the future. But for the time being, if I give you a summary of today's, what we have discussed in the past, today is 5th August. So before that, we have taken about 4 or 5 sessions on this particular sutta, and we have discussed the first 2, which is the virtue and the concentration. And when we were discussing virtue and concentration, it is very important not to give crooked instructions, not to become like a crab. You know, when the crabs are asking its small ones to walk straight, when the crabs themselves are not walking straight. So it's not something like that. In the Buddha's teaching, what you will have to do is, you will have to talk about others' welfare if you have your own welfare. And this is something which is misconceived or misunderstood in the society. A lot of people, they know about what is to be done for their own welfare, but they don't do it, but they preach others. That's 99% of the Buddhist world. And for some people, they don't worry about their own welfare, and they don't worry about others' welfare as well. And there are some people who worry about their welfare and they don't care about others' welfare because it is so tiring. you have got to be very patient in considering the others' others' welfare. Therefore, there are so many motivations not to think of others' welfare. So they just take care of their own and just forget about others. But Buddha is someone who has um, completed his perfections, as we know, Sara Sankhya Kalpa Lakshya, which is an innumerable number. And with those perfections, he has developed the energy to do that. After attaining for 45 years, he has been taking care of his own welfare so far as being Samma Sambuddha, fully enlightened Buddha without a teacher, is in itself a miracle. We can understand when we have the teaching what a struggle we are going through to get there. So therefore, that understanding of the caliber of a Buddha can at least be very drop of water from the ocean when we try to understand it, because what he has understood, what sacrifications he has done, what perfections he has done, we cannot even fathom, we cannot even think of it. And if we know, it is just a drop from the ocean. And we therefore have such a great gratitude towards him. So after accomplishing his own welfare, he wanted to stop himself. And he decided and he thought the people will not understand this irrational teaching. It has some people, you can see some rationality in it. For some people, it is not so easy to understand that rationality. So therefore, he decided not to teach that people are not ready to do it. But some or other, and the history says that Maha Brahma, I don't remember the name, has invited him to teach. And there are people who have less defilements in their mind, and they should be able to understand. So because of that, he started teaching. And even after 2,600 years, it is still working. And therefore, there is a generation that his perfections and his power has created to see their own welfare and to see others' welfare as well. So therefore, when we are doing our teaching, it is not just others' welfare. It is not just not welfare of everybody. We take care of our welfare and also try our level best to whoever who is interested to give this welfare. So in doing that, the first thing that you will have to do is you will have to show the significance of morality, significance of ethics, significance of virtue to other people. And to do that, you will have to first be a virtuous person yourself. In other words, a person who has some restraint in his physical and verbal deeds. So if you don't have such restraint, then what Buddha says is be mindful. When you become mindful and further you practice in mindful, deeper you get into the mindfulness, then you will start seeing yourself. And the first thing that you will see is your own gross defilements. One of the gross defilements is breaking precepts. So when you see that, because of your mindfulness, because you become aware of yourself, and you will gradually tend to eradicate the friction that you are creating through breaking precepts. So as a result, the mindfulness will lead you to become a moral person, and therefore you will not, or at least you will minimize the transgressional defilements that you will make. So once you do that, you will be a very free person. You will be a person with less fear about the society, because you don't give fear to other people. So therefore, you also have got nothing to be afraid of. So that way, once you are accomplished, then he teaches others as well. This is how I did. I was also a very nasty person those days, but because of this particular practice, I was able to take a U-turn. And why don't you try? And I will help you. So that way, and teachers who accomplish in virtues help others to become virtuous as well. And then a virtuous person's journey does not end there. So that is again another problem we have in the society. Those who are virtuous, and they are waiting until the virtue is complete. And is there anybody who is going to come and tell you, okay, your virtue is complete? No. The only way you can see your virtue is complete is to see whether you are able to restrain your mind, because you are already having some restraint in physical and verbal deed. You will have to see how vulgar, how unruly, how untamed your mind is. So when you see that, then you know, although your physical and verbal deeds are to certain extent taken care of, the mental deeds are not. So therefore, you will see a lot of lust arising. You will see a lot of hatred arising. You will see a lot of sloth and torpor arises. You may see a lot of agitations and worry. You may see a lot of skeptical doubts. So when you have these things, what Buddha says is be mindful of those things. These are natural for a person who is virtuous. Since you are virtuous, you are able to see another layer of your own defilements, and these defilements are within you. They have not crossed the boundary. So if you just keep an eye about it without being worried about it, if you become worried about it, then it gives you once again suffering. But mindfulness is helping you not to not to give you worry. But when you see it, it may be a mental phenomena. Just keep observing. So therefore, because of your observation, the worry about these obsessional defilements will fade away. So when the worry about obsessional defilements fade away, then you will be able to have a settled mind, irrespective of whether your attention is on the object or not. And some people think that you will have concentration only when you have the concentration or the focus or the attention to your main object. It is one way, but it is not compulsory. Even if the object changes, and if you just can keep observe, no matter what object, no matter what the object that becomes prominent, you will have a settled mind. So that is samadhi, that is concentration. We cannot change the world, and we cannot stop the world and gain concentration. Buddha is teaching us a technique to gain concentration when the world is running its usual business. Are you able to be away from it? Or in other words, be a person who is not getting involved in it, who is not getting engaged in it. So that distance can be taken while you are there, while you are in the normal world. So that concentration, that attention, that settled mind is much sharper than having the attention to one object and maintaining your focus. So either way, when you have your settled mind, so that is a result of uh, perfecting or the completion of your virtue. So when the virtue is really completed, you are able to have a settled mind. So when you have a settled mind, then it goes deeper, and then you will be, because of the settled mind, you have an opportunity to tell others how to have a settled mind. So therefore, you first gain yourself the settled mind, and then you know how easy it is, how hard it is, how challenging it is, what factors affecting it is, and what variables will be there, and what conditions are required, and you will have a wide variety of things affecting the situation. And then you will be able to help the other person as well, no matter where he is coming from, no matter what he does, no matter how old he is and what background he is having. He should be able to help to come from morality to the concentration. So all this happens because he himself has involved in it. He himself has achieved it. So today, when you have the concentration, why we have concentration is not to indulge in it. The concentration is required to the next state. So what Buddha says in the third factor is accomplish in wisdom and help others to accomplish in wisdom. So this is very vital, right? We call it panya sampanno hoti panya sampadayo, right? So you accomplish yourself and then tell others, encourages others to accomplish the wisdom. So when you say panya, which is the topic today, it has a wide variety of meanings. So some call it understanding, some call it wisdom, some call it insight. So it's a wide range. From the concentration, you will have a huge range because it goes. Now, once you have concentration, you will have to see what sort of concentration you have. But if you have a concentration which is attached to a single object, then it is not necessarily on the Buddha's path. So for a person, initially, to come to this practice, and he has to be a person with some sort of wisdom. So therefore, this wisdom does not arise on its own. So it is a complementary teaching. It is a complementary phenomena. So if I may go to early stages of our involvement in the Dhamma, we usually start getting involved in Dhamma by offerings through charity, right? So you may either give some food for monks, or you go to a temple and offer flowers, or you offer incense sticks, or offer water to Bodhi tree, doing some sort of offering or some sort of charity, right? So for someone to have that mindset, for someone to have that thinking, comparatively, it is also sort of understanding, sort of wisdom, sort of changing the track that you are driving on. Why I say is, during Buddha's time, there were people who were saying that there is no absolutely any use by making any small offering, or by giving doing any charity, or maybe doing a big charity, or doing a very huge one. He said they were saying there is no use. But what Buddha said was, if you do any charitable work, and it is for your own benefit. So therefore, for you to become a charitable person, you must have had some sort of understanding, some sort of wisdom within you. Otherwise, you will steal whatever other people are having and satisfy yourself. You will kill the rest of the world and satisfy yourself. And you don't give dana. Instead you take what others have. So therefore, to move away from what others have and give your own thing is in itself wisdom. So also, when someone is virtuous and someone becomes virtuous, stop all this physical bad or unacceptable physical and verbal deeds because he has some wisdom. If he is not having wisdom, he will keep saying, there is no need for us to think about other people. We will have to think about ourselves only. So you just kill, just steal, just engage in sexual misconduct, just keep lying as much as possible, get indulge in intoxication. That is for our benefit, and there is no need to stop those things. Most of the people are saying in the world today. But there are very few people who engage in the moral behavior because they know that it is bad for the society as for themselves. So that is wisdom. And here they are not doing it just because a book says, just because you are afraid of the God, just because you are afraid of the hell. You are doing it because you know you don't like someone else is doing it to you. You don't like someone is killing you or harming you. You don't like someone is taking what you have without giving. You don't like someone else is engaging in sexual misconduct with your relatives and related parties, and you don't like to get bullied and lied by other people, and you don't like the friction from taking intoxication. So therefore you don't do it for other people. So it is a factor of wisdom rather than a commandment or a fear of some unknown power. So therefore, if someone is virtuous, it shows element of wisdom. If someone is charitable, it shows element of wisdom. And also, concentration is also an element of wisdom, right? Because either way, it may be samatha concentration, it may be vipassana concentration. In the case of vipassana concentration, you have higher wisdom or higher understanding or higher insight. In the case of samatha concentration, you have an understanding, you have concentration, but very rarely you can call it insight. But with that also, there is some sense of some element of wisdom. And if you don't have some sort of understanding to go further from the virtue, physical and verbal deed, then you don't have wisdom. Your wisdom stays only at the virtuous level. But if you try and if you are able to get, if you are able at least to have your attention to the main object, at least for some time, and during that period, you have some wisdom, no matter whether it is samatha or vipassana. So therefore, a wise person is charitable. And you may have heard there is a stanza in Dhammapada which calls Putta matti danang matti iti balo viharanti attahi attano natti kuto putta kuto dana. I'm not going to tell its meaning, but this was told to a son of a very wealthy billionaire, I would say in today's terms, who passed away. And that person, when he was living, he did not give a single penny to anybody. And he himself did not eat well. He himself did not feed well. Sorry, did not feed well to his next of kin. He was just accumulating only, and he was teaching his children as well to do the same thing. And he passed away. So once he passed away, he became such a horrible, he had such a horrible rebirth. He was born as another human being. He was born as a human being, but in a very, very low caste. And because he did not give anybody, so therefore he did not receive anything when he was born, but he had some luck to be born as a human being. And although he not only he was born so poor and in a lower caste, and he was so badly deformed, and he was so badly disliked by everybody. So as a result, Buddha had to say this, because this person, after the rebirth, he came to his own old palace, and everybody got shocked and everybody started chasing away. Buddha said, don't chase away. This person was your daddy, this person was your grandfather. And then they did not believe. And then Buddha said, you just let him go inside. He will go to the places where he has hidden his wealth, and he will dig it out and show you. And then the same thing happened. Then that person's son got shocked to see that his father is born in this manner. So then Buddha said this stanza, Uttamatti Dhanangmatti, which means we say we have sons, we have money, Puttamatti Dhanangmatti, iti balo viharanti. That is how fools are living. Then Buddha says, Attahi attano natti. You don't have at least yourself. Kuto putta kuto dana. So then what is the use of having money and having sons? So therefore, once Buddha said this, that person's son became a son of Buddha. He started following, he became a dayaka of the Buddha, and he started realizing them. So what I want to say is, his son had the ability to understand, he had the wisdom to understand what Buddha was saying. But that person, he was living when Buddha was living, and he met Buddha twice, when he was a billionaire and when he's a pauper as well. But in both the situations, he did not have that element of wisdom within him, at least to offer something to somebody. If he had at least done that, he would have had an opportunity to go and see a monk. So this is the beauty of giving dana. You get an opportunity to go and see a monk. And therefore, one who is virtuous, one who is charitable is is a wise person, but he is not a complete wise person. But to that extent of being charitable, he is wise. Among those who are trying to grab what others have. And also, the one who observes precepts, one who is restraining his physical and verbal deeds, is also a wise person. Only a wise person is observing a precept. So that is very clearly mentioned in the Sonadanda Sutta. And when the discussion was there between Sonadanda and the Buddha, Sonadanda said, Panyavantassa silo silavantassa panyo. Natti panyo, natti silo, natti silo, natti panyo. Which means, he said, it is not necessary for someone to become fully purified in his clan, in his generation, in his past mothers and fathers should not be, 100% pure birth. But it is not compulsory for that person to be a real handsome and person who is really having all the faculties intact. And it is not compulsory for someone to know all the canons or the writing of that particular teaching. But if someone is not virtuous and that person is not wise, therefore such a person cannot be a leader. So therefore, when you look at the world today, see whether your leaders in the immediate life, whether they are virtuous. If they are virtuous, then they are wise. So if they are wise, they are virtuous. So if we have leaders who are not wise, they are not going to do any good for themselves as well as for others. So, current day, the present day, the world is ruled by dollars and cents. So, when the world is ruled by dollars and cents, the virtue is going out the window. So, when the virtue is going out the window, the world will be ruled by those who are not virtuous. So, if there are if the world is ruled by those who are not virtuous, world will be definitely ruled by unwise people. I don't want to use the other word. The world is the leaders are not wise today. So therefore, to some extent, we have wisdom if we are observing precepts. And at the same time, I said a wise person will develop concentration as well. So when a wise person is developing concentration, that has two elements, as I mentioned earlier, which is samatha or vipassana. So in this manner, further you go in your wisdom, further you walk on the path of the Buddha, the wisdom is gradually improving. And not only gradually improving, it complements each other. Your charitable behavior improves your wisdom, and your wisdom improves your charitable behavior. And as a result, because of this complementary nature, you get the ability, you get the opportunity to move to the other one. And when you are wise, you observe precepts. Because you observe precepts, you become more wise. So it complements each other. And when it complements each other, then you have the opportunity to go to the next level of wisdom. Otherwise, you will be stagnating. So to go to the next level of wisdom, when you go to concentration, then concentration helps your wisdom and wisdom helps your concentration. So when at one point, if the wisdom stops helping concentration, then it becomes samatha. And if the wisdom continues to help your concentration, then it turns into a vipassana or the insight. So when you talk about wisdom in books, there are this wisdom is categorized in many different ways, but there is a very nice classification in the canon. There are three types of wisdoms, which all of us know. One is called Suttamaya Panya, and the next is Chintamaya Panya, and the third is Bhavanamaya Panya. So Goenkaji is giving a very nice simile for it. Goenkaji says the Suttamaya Panya is as good as reading the menu card. When you go to a restaurant, you get a menu and you just go through the menu and it says margarita and in the pizza shop, and you see what ingredients are there. So you know this particular pizza is made in this manner. And therefore, he has an understanding of what it consists. That is Suttamaya Panya. So the same thing, even in Buddhism, if you read the books, you get the understanding from learning. Your understanding, your wisdom is based only on learning, and it does not go anywhere. It's like reading the menu card. Chintamaya Panya is a step forward. And there what happens is, you don't just read and understand it just what you have in the book. You will try to justify it. You will try to rationalize it. You will try to compare with other teaching. You will try to compare it with science. You will try to compare it with psychology and physiology and all sorts of things. You will try to compare and analyze, and in that manner, you will have some rationalization of what is in the book. And in that rationalization, if you feel, and this teaching is something out of ordinary, so therefore it has answers to many questions we have, then that becomes Sutameya Panya. It is not only, Chintameya Panya. It is not only just you have the knowledge in the book, you apply that knowledge to wide variety of scenarios that you know and that you can think of and that you can argue and support, then it becomes Chintameya Panya. But both these are not enough. The present day, this is what is happening. Everyone is reading suttas, everyone is chanting suttas, and they know what is there, that's the end of it. And they don't go any further. And some people, they keep discussing about it. There are so many Dhamma discussions, so many sermons, and it does not go any further. So therefore, Sutameya Panya is good, but limited. Chintameya Panya is better, but again it is limited in its application. Buddha says it has to be Bhavanamaya Panya. Bhavanamaya Panya means experiential, your first-hand experience. So it is not someone else's Panya. It is not that you think and justify and argue and win. It becomes, that Panya becomes your achievement. That is what Buddha says in this sutta, accomplishment of wisdom, not knowing the wisdom, not justifying your wisdom. But most of us do is, Buddha is the best and Buddha has said this and Buddha has said that, and therefore all other things are rubbish. So this is what most of us do. That is not enough. That doesn't liberate you. That doesn't take you to the final goal. In fact, if you keep on doing that, I'm worried whether you are going on the reverse side. Even using Buddha, if you try to generate hatred and if you try to generate craving, Buddha has very clearly mentioned in the very first discourse itself in the canon, you are not my son or you are not my daughter. What he has said is, if you become biased, either liking or disliking, when someone is bragging about me, when someone is flattering about me, and if you become elated, then you are not my son. And if someone is shouting at me and talking ill of me, and if you become irritated, you are not my son or daughter. So what he simply says is, even if that happens to Buddha himself, even if that happens to Dhamma, even if that happens to Sangha, Arahant, you have got to be neutral. And therefore, your rationalization and Sutameya Panya is basically, according to Buddha, you are not in the teaching. Look at the YouTube today. All what we have is, people are fighting. One is fighting with the other. One says, he says that, and that is wrong, and this is how it should be. And the other says, no, that is wrong because this is the reason. And this keeps happening. And the same thing has happened to us as well. In some of my YouTube clips, people are putting some funny questions. And a lot of people are saying, why don't you reply? So I said, I don't have time to reply this stupid question. I'm talking to people who are practicing. And people who are asking these questions, they absolutely have no practice. And if they practice and ask some questions, then I will be able to talk to them from the practice. So this is the teaching of the Buddha. This is the highest level of wisdom that Buddha is talking about. So therefore, Bhavanamaya Panya is the level that we are practicing. We are not We are not doing this Sutameya analysis. Now what we are doing is a Suttamaya support. This Suttamaya support, after doing our bhavana, after doing our practice, so therefore this is going as a supportive factor. This panya is going as a supportive factor. This rationalization is going as a supportive factor for our experience. But a lot of people, they don't practice, but only in the first two. And that is good. Buddha says that is also panya. But that panya has crossed its limit. And now people are trying to identify themselves with those panya. And therefore, that itself has created a war, that itself has created rivalry, which Buddha has vehemently denied. So when you take bhavana me panya, which is experiential one, the meaning of wisdom is bit, how do I put? It's not easy to understand. And there is no, I did not, at least, I can't say there is no, I did not see a good definition of wisdom in the canon. It may be somewhere, but I haven't found it. Directly, I could not find it. But in Visuddhimagga, in the path of purification, it says wisdom is beyond knowing, penetration, and observation of the details of the object. So I'll read it again. Wisdom is beyond knowing, penetration, and observation of the details of the object. In other words, when you know the object, knowing the object is close to wisdom, but it is beyond, it is not really going to the wisdom. And when you get closer and when you penetrate the object, and again you have not seen the wisdom, you are again getting close. An observation of the details, again it is not the details of the object. Again it is not wisdom, but you are getting close. So in other words, when you see the breath, and if you see your gross breath, and if you see your breath becoming subtler, and you know the object, and when you know the object, and it is close to concentration because you are with the object. But if you get even close to this known object, what happens is through that, you will go through the breath, and using breath, you may be able to penetrate into your body. So you may start feeling the whole body. So when you start feeling the whole body, it is penetration of the object. It is now using the breath. You are going beyond breath, and using breath, you see what machine was functioning. And now you see the machine. And not only you see the machine, you, because of your penetration, you get closer and you can observe more details. In the sense, you may be able to see that the breath is becoming subtler. It's an observation of the detail. And not only it just becomes subtler, it goes into very short breath, and this short breath becomes even subtler, and you will finally start observing only few air particles. And when you see these air particles, you start seeing such a phenomena in the whole body. And when you keep on observing that phenomena in the whole body, you feel a body in a different way. You may feel that body is swaying, or your body is stiff, or your body is cold, or it is hard, or you may be seeing that the body is bubbling up, So all these are details of the object. And these details have been seen even by the practitioners before the Buddha. So therefore, just because you see these things, you have not gone to wisdom that the Buddha is talking about and to the final wisdom that the Buddha is talking about. To go to the final wisdom that the Buddha is talking about, we will have to keep observing. And when you keep observing, what Buddha says is, it leads to the path of the Buddha by understanding the impermanence, by understanding the non-self or the impersonality, and understanding the suffering. So if you are able to get to this stage, then you will be on the path of the Buddha. So before Buddha, as you all know, the Uddakarama Putra, he was one of the cleverest teacher and one of the best teachers who were teaching pupils before Buddha. And Buddha also became one of his students and the cleverest student. And he went to the eighth absorption very quickly. And then Buddha himself decided, even before becoming Buddha, that this is not what I am looking for. Therefore, he rejected eighth absorption, and he said, this has some rough suffering. This is not really the truth. I am going in search of truth. And then after practicing, he came to the same place. He came to the eighth absorption. But once he came to the eighth absorption, now coming to the eighth absorption, you should know the object, you should penetrate the object, you should get as much details as the object, and you do all that. And that is also to some extent some wisdom. That wisdom is better than concentration. That wisdom is better than become a virtuous person. That wisdom is definitely better than become a charitable person. But that wisdom is inferior to the wisdom that the Buddha is talking about. So what Buddha says is, when you get to this stage, you please don't conclude that this is the last stage. You just keep observing. So in order to keep observing, all what you need is the skill, the ability to keep the mindfulness to the fore. So if you have developed that mentality to keep the mindfulness to the fore, when you come to the eighth absorption, which is a situation where you neither perceive nor non-perceive a particular scenario. It may be form, it may be feelings, it may be perception, it may be what you call mental volitions, it may be consciousness, or it may be culmination of all these five. There will have a situation, you don't know exactly what is happening, but something is there. You exactly can't say. And it's just like a dream. And you are in that state. And when you go to that state, you have to keep observing that, keeping your attention to the body, keeping your folk not 100% holding onto the body, but having some communication with the body. So when you keep on doing that, after a long time, Buddha says, your mind gradually start changing, that more you observe, closer you observe, you start seeing that there is some fast change happening. And since there is a fast change happening, since it has a very, very, very high velocity, you can't see whether something is there or not. So therefore, when you get your attention to that level, only you will let things go. And then only you will see things are arising, passing away, arising, passing away, arising, passing away, arising, passing away. And seeing that arising, passing away is also not sufficient until such time you keep your mindfulness to the fore. Because you may get attached to that arising and passing away situation as well. So without identifying yourself with it and without trying to make the final goal, if you keep observing, all what you see is this this unillustratable, unenjoyable situation. And although it is not enjoyable, if you keep on practicing, then what you do is you simply changing your attitude. You see something horrible. You see something that absolutely have no value, and you accept that. Then what you are doing is you gradually change your wisdom to go beyond the knowing, beyond penetration, beyond observation of details. Now you see the reality and you accept the reality. You don't try to make a conclusion. So therefore, when you gradually start accepting this changing nature, changing phenomena, then you get used to impermanence and your mentality completely changes. And when you see that this is impermanent, then in order to see that this is impermanent, you have changed your attitude towards self. If the self is there, you can't see things impermanent. Self also should gradually at the same time subside, fade away, and get washed away, get cleansed away. Then only you don't identify yourself with that. Since you don't identify yourself with that, you see that there is no self here and you accept that. So therefore, when you accept these two phenomena after long time practice, then what you simply avoid is thing that you were trying to hold as sukha, as happiness, as joy. You see, is a suffering if you try to hold it. Something which is impermanent, trying to make it permanent, is in itself a suffering. That is what the entire world is doing. Entire world is doing, including temples, including meditators. They are trying to make something permanent. They don't know. They are trying to make something self. They don't know. Therefore, meditation has become a suffering for a lot of people. That is simply because they don't apply that very clear and clean tool that the Buddha has given to see impermanence. The tool the Buddha has given to see impermanence is to keep the mindfulness to the fore. So if you keep your awareness aligned and awake all the time, whenever you have something, then all what you see is impermanence. As soon as you turn off keeping the mindfulness to the fore, then you will conclude and you will finish, and then you will come to the end of the path. What Buddha says is there is no conclusion in observation, in being mindful. You will have to continuously allow the mindfulness to perpetuate. So when the mindfulness perpetuating only, you will see impermanence and non-self. So when that happens, and most of you have had some experience about it. Not that you have not had any experience. You have, all of you may have seen this arising and passing away nature, at least for few thought moments. So that is a very good thing. But it doesn't immediately become a wisdom. It becomes a wisdom only when you have no doubt about it. Only when you are afraid about it. Just and not just at the initial stage of arising and passing away. You should see that arising and passing away happening at a rate that you cannot fathom. And even when that happens, and if you keep observing, then you are just giving into the reality. Then that giving into the reality is the wisdom. But again, in that wisdom, even if you see impermanent, seeing impermanent can be made self. So therefore, for the wisdom to complete, even after seeing impermanence, you should not identify yourself with that seeing of impermanence. So therefore, Buddha says, even if you go to that stage, your journey is not over. your journey will be over only when you don't identify yourself with that experience. So therefore, to come to this stage, there is a path. And once you walk on that path, there will have a lot of substations. So you will start after having wisdom. After having wisdom, only you will start realizing the path. Only then that your wisdom will be matured. When you see it once fully, you will be aware that something happened, but you don't know. And you do the same thing over and again, over and again, over and again. Then you will be able to gradually, what you experience, you know its surrounding, you know how it happened. You are able to get some understanding of it with Sutta Panya and Chintamaya Panya. Then only it culminates and it matures. Then it leads to the next stage. So therefore, in the next session, we will see what happens when the wisdom is getting completed. So hope this has given you some understanding of what the wisdom is. Wisdom is like, if a small child receive a gold bar, he doesn't know what it is. But if his or her parents see it, they will know this is something valuable. But if that gold bar is given to a goldsmith, he will know nitty-gritty of it. He will know everything of it. And therefore, he knows how valuable it is. So therefore, what Buddha has made us, what Buddha is asking us to do, is to become that goldsmith, because he has given us a gold bar. He has given us a gold nugget. So we should not be a child with a gold nugget. We should not try to be the owner of that gold nugget. We should be able to make use of it. So may you all be able to make use of this gold nugget and achieve the wisdom that the Buddha is explaining. Blessings of the Triple Gem to all of you.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Teruvan Saranai. Okay, so with that, if we have anything to discuss, we can take. All right. I presume that there is nothing to discuss. So if there is nothing to discuss, is anyone having the paper? Do you have the paper, Chatu?
Yep, I can do it.
Yeah, so please, we have gathered some positive energies by practicing and listening to the talk, and we will share these positive energies with the rest of the universe. I will kindly request Chatu to chant those stanzas to past merits.
May all devas share this merit which we have thus accumulated for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness and prosperity. May all other beings share this merit which we have thus accumulated for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness and prosperity. May all the beings share this merit which we have thus accumulated for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness and prosperity. May all beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, having shared this merit, long protect the dispensation. May all beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, having shared this merit, long protect the teaching. May all beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, having shared this merit, long protect me and others. If by deed, speech, or thought, heedlessly I have done any wrong, forgive, O Master, O Victor, greatly wise. If by deed, speech, or thought, heedlessly I have done any wrong, forgive, O Dhamma, to be seen here and now, timeless. If by deed, speech, or thought, heedlessly I have done any wrong, forgive, O Sangha, practice well the incomparable. Let this merit accrue to our departed relatives, and may they be happy. Let this merit accrue to our departed relatives, and may they be happy. Let this merit accrue to our departed relatives, and may they be happy. By the grace of this merit that I have acquired, may I never follow the foolish, but only the wise, up to the time I attain Nibbana. By the grace of this merit that I have acquired, may I never follow the foolish, but only the wise, up to the time I attain Nibbana. By the grace of this merit that I have acquired, may I never follow the foolish, but only the wise, up to the time I attain Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you everyone for joining. See you next time.